Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The first of all, let's say our gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, because as His rahmat, taufik, and hidayat, we can have a healthy life, healthy body, and we can keep touching to our family and our friend, and of course, we can still learning together in DEE. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Dendi, and at this opportunity, I will tell you some information from the chapter 5, Sociocultural Diversity, on the title of Gender. As you can see on your screen, the title is Gender, and gender have 6 branches. The first is exploring gender view, gender stereotyping, similarity and differences, and gender controversy, gender role classification, gender in context, and the last eliminating gender bias. But in this time, I will explaining to you from the exploring gender view until gender controversy, and will be continued by my friend Fajar Ahmad Ramadan. Okay, let's start it. The first is exploring gender view. What is exactly the means of gender? Gender refers to the characteristic of people as male and females. Gender roles are set of expectations that prescribe how female or male should think, act, and feel. Gender typing refers to acquisition of a traditional masculine or feminine role. For the example is, aggression is more characteristic of a traditional masculine role, and nurturing is more characteristic of a traditional feminine role. And there are various ways to view gender development. Some views stress the influence of biological factor on the behavior of male and female, and others also emphasize social or cognitive factor. Okay. From the social view of gender, especially like the various social contexts in which children develop, as such as families, peers, school, and the media. Many parents encourage boys and girls to engage in different types of play and activities. Girls are more likely to be given dolls and when old enough are more likely to be assigned babysitting duties. Girls are also encouraged to be more nurturing than boys. Fathers are more likely to engage in aggressive play with their sons than with their daughter. Parents also Parents allow their adolescent sons to have more freedom than their adolescent daughter. And now peers also reward and punish gender-related behavior. After extensive observation of elementary school classroom, two researchers characterize the play setting as a gender school. In elementary school, boys usually hang out with boys and girls with girls. It's easier for tomboy girls to join boys group than for feminine boys to join girls group because of our society creates sidestepping pressure on boys. We can conclude that peers play an especially important gender socializing role, teaching each other what is acceptable and unacceptable gender behavior. And for now, gender schema theory. Currently, the most widely accepted cognitive theory of gender states that gender typing emerged as children gradually develop gender schema of what is gender appropriate and gender inappropriate in their culture. A schema is cognitive structure, a network of association that guides an individual's perception. A gender schema organizes the world in terms of female and male. Children are internally motivated to perceive the world and to act in accordance with their developing schemas. Next, gender stereotyping, similarities, and differences. The first is gender, I'm sorry, gender stereotypes. Gender stereotypes are broad categories that reflect impression and belief about what behavior is appropriate for females and males. All stereotypes, whether they related to gender, ethnicity, or other categories, refer to an image of what the typical member of category is like. Many stereotypes are so general that they become ambiguous. Consider the categories of masculine and feminine. Next, gender similarity and differences in academically relevant domains. Many aspects of student life can be examined to determine how similar or different girls and boys are. There are the first is the brain, and then physical performance, and the last is intelligence. Let's begin from the brain. Female brains are smaller than male brain, but female brains have more folds. The larger folds, or called convolutions, allow more surface brain tissues within the skull of female than in female. And then an area of the parietal lobe that function in visuospatial skills tend to be larger in male than in females. The area of the brain involved in emotional expression tend to show more metabolic activity in female than in males. And then physical performance. Activity level is another area of physical performance in which gender differences occur. From very early in life, boys are more active than girls are in terms of gross motor movement. In the classroom, this means that boys are more likely than girls to fidget and move around the room, and they are less likely to pay attention. And last is intelligence. No gender differences occur in overall intellectual ability, but gender differences do appear in some cognitive areas such as math and verbal skill. And now, math and science skill. Gender differences in mathematical abilities, a very large-scale study of more than 7 million US students in grades 2 through 11 One area of math that has been examined for possible gender differences is visuospatial skill, which include being able to rotate objects mentally and determine what they would look like when rotated. This type of skill are important in courses such as plane and solid geometry and geography. A review revealed that boys have better visuospatial skill than girls. And then science. In this study, male high school graduates also reported that they like science better than their female counterparts did. In other study focused on 8th and 10th grades, boys scored higher than girls on the science test, especially among average and high ability students. Now for Buzzkill, a major review of gender similarity and differences conducted in the 1970s conclude that girls have better verbal skills than boys do. And now educational attainment. In regard to school achievement, girls earn better grades and complete high school at higher rate than boys do. Girls are more likely to be engaged with academic material, be attentive in class, put forth more academic effort, and participate more in class than the boys are. Keep in mind that measure of achievement in school or scores standardized tests in math, science, reading, and writing may reflect many factors besides cognitive ability. Next. Relationship skill. Researchers have found that girls are more people-oriented and boys are more things-oriented. In a recent research review, this conclusion was supported by finding that girls spend more time in relationship while boys spend more time alone, playing video games and playing sport. That girls work at a part-time jobs that are people-oriented such as waitressing and babysitting while boys are more likely to take part-time jobs that involve manual labor and using tools, and that girls are interested in careers that are more people-oriented such as teaching and social work, while boys are more likely to be interested in object-oriented careers such as mechanic and engineering. Next, pro-social behavior. Girls view themselves Girls view themselves as more pro-social and empathic than boys do. Across the childhood and adolescence, girls engage in more pro- pro-social behavior. The biggest gender differences occur for kind and considerate behavior with a smaller difference in sharing. And the next is aggression. One of the most consistent gender differences is that boys are more physically aggressive than girls. Although boys are consistently more physically aggressive than girls, my girls show as much or more verbal aggression, such as yelling, than boys, and when verbal aggression is examined, gender differences typically either disappear or are sometimes even more pronounced in girls. Next, gender controversy. The previous section revealed some substantial differences in physical performance, writing skill, aggression, self-regulation, and pro-social behavior, but small or non-existent differences in communication, math, and science. Controversy surrounds about such similarities and differences. David Buss 2000 2012 and 2015 argue that gender differences are extensive and caused by the adaptive problem faced across evolutionary history. Alex Eagley also concludes that gender differences are substantial but reach a very different conclusion about their cause. She emphasized that gender differences are due to a social condition that have resulted in women having less power and controlling fewer resources than men. Okay, I think that's all that I can say. Okay, uh, I think that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you for your attention. Hopefully, we can survive from the coronavirus, and I hope the condition of the worldwide is better soon. Keep praying and keep social distancing and always wear wear your mask when you want to go outside of your house. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.